Sisney's got this story about how to successfully argue with your partner. Just arguing is already unsuccess. You know?
Right, but you know what? I'm a big believer in getting into arguments with your partner. I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy.
I'm not. I'm into dialogue or silence.
Well, we don't seek it, but come on, you can't seem to tell me that you've never gotten into a fight with one of your past girlfriends. Like, okay, call it dialogue, but you start arguing. It's an argument, essentially.
I mean, I don't yell.
Sure, but you don't have to yell to be in an argument.
I get frustrated. Yeah, you get frustrated, and then of course you say, the dumb mistakes I've made in the past. You say something under your breath, right? And they're like, "What? What was that?"
Right. You're Capricorn. You're not much of a yeller.
No, dialogue or silence. So, what are the key ways to have a successful yell fest?
This article was actually really long, and there was like 11 of them, but I picked 3.
Okay.
And I felt like these were the most important ones. And this was from a relationship expert, kind of just weighing in like a therapist. So they say stay on topic and address separate issues later. I am guilty of this. If I'm in an argument with Michael for whatever we're actually fighting about, I will bring up crap from the past. And I'll be like, well, remember that one time last summer? And it's just like, and then you just get sidetracked.
It has nothing to do with it.
Has nothing to do with it, and I'm so guilty. And he always tries to bring me back. He's like, "We're not talking about that. We're talking about this issue." And it's like, "Yes, you're right." Use I statements to express how you feel. So instead of using language that places blame on your partner, reframe the conversation on how a behavior specifically impacts you. So instead of saying, "You make me angry because you don't listen," you can say, "I feel upset because I don't feel heard right now." And so that just changes the wording. Direction.
Yeah, the words you use are important, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you make it I instead of you do this. And then the last one is, I found this one really interesting. So it just says to make sure that your basic needs are met before you start hashing something out. And it can be as simple as maybe you're hungry. And
actually, that is true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just make sure your basic needs, like make sure you had a good sleep last night. And
you're hydrated.
You're not hungry. You're hydrated.
That's interesting because you can have that hanger.
Yes, and so all of a sudden you're in this fight with your significant other for no reason. It's just because you're hungry.
Or something bad happened at work, right? Or somebody else ticked you off.
Exactly.
That's happened before, where like someone else has upset you, and then you kind of just aren't in your own good mood, right?
Yeah, you take it out on the people you love.
Well, nice to know that you and Michael like to argue.
We don't like to. I'm just saying.
You just said you like to have a good argument.
I don't like to have a good argument. I think it's important to have arguments with your significant other, because otherwise you just bottle stuff up and then it makes it worse.
You can have dialogue.
Okay, there's no perfect dialogue. There's no way. It's an argument.
All right. It's all easy to say on paper. You're right. It's very difficult to do, to practice. But those are some good tips.